want to talk a little bit today around the topic of disgust and nausea, which can come up when you're doing these exercises. In many emotional release sessions, it's actually quite common for this emotion of disgust to come up. And it's something that we have the most resistance to as people because we don't want to feel sick, we don't want to feel nauseated, we definitely do not want to vomit or throw up. But you have to understand that doing these exercises is getting a lot of energy moving inside of you, especially if you haven't done this before, if there's been topics that you've been really avoiding, that then suddenly you're like, okay, I was hitting my pillow, I was doing this deep breathing, and now I feel like I'm going to be sick. Is this normal? And yes, it is. You have to imagine that when we're feeling nauseated, there's this concept of something inside of us energetically that we want to get out. It's the same if we eat bad food, we then feel sick and we want to vomit. And this is basically what's going on when emotions are coming up. And yes, it can be very easy to be like, I don't want to feel this, like, oh, I'm going to stop this, I don't want to let this emotion come up anymore. But what I really invite you to, and do this gently, it doesn't have to mean that you're suddenly going to purge or vomit. It actually happens like very rarely. I'd say like 2% of sessions this ever happens. It's more that the feeling of it is there. So often when I'm working with clients who are doing anger work, it could be that they have somebody who had crossed their boundaries in the past and now they're processing that situation, and it's really this concept of like, oh, like I really, like really this person is like energetically also inside and I need to let it out. So ways that you can also do this is to follow your body's natural impulse. So trigger warning, this can be a little bit intense for people, but that concept of heaving, so like the stomach going in, and this concept of like a retching, as we would say in English, like like really letting yourself follow that impulse a little bit. So if it's coming up in sessions, using the sound with it, and if you feel like you also want to go a little bit further, you can even stick the tongue out. So in Kundalini Yoga, there's also a lot of kriyas that involve sticking the tongue out, and it's also a very cleansing thing that's happening as it's like, the body is trying to get rid of something also energetically. You may find that, okay, but I'm scared that I'm gonna throw up. And I understand that that could be a fear. I mean, when I have sessions with my clients, I let them know that everything is welcome. If they turn out that they need to vomit, then have a bucket ready, have a bin ready for them. And most of the time, nothing comes out. Maybe one time they spit, but knowing that there is a container there that you can at least have the safety if something comes out, which very rarely it does. It maybe just they need to spit once. Then it can help to just let yourself really like relax into that process of like, like really going with that flow. Trust me, it's okay that this is happening, and it really just means that there's a lot of energy that's starting to move. And if you have any questions, please write them under this video. Yeah, disgust is something that comes up very often, especially when we're starting to look at anger. If you're looking at things such as not just physical boundaries, but it could be emotional boundaries, it could be of neediness, it could be of someone forcing their opinion on you, all these different types of boundaries that we have, and you can check the boundaries video for more of that. But all of these different types of boundaries, if there's crossings of it, in particular if there's also topics of abuse that's going on, then the body really is storing these imprints that it's ready to release. And that's something that I say, it's like this is only coming up because you're able to hold it. Your body is never trying to show you something that you're not able to process. That's why sometimes it can take many years until after something happens, like an abuse or a moment, for you to actually let it come up, because you have to be in a position where you're strong enough. Knowing that, sometimes it's easier to let yourself surrender into whatever somatic impulses your body is giving. Is it nausea? Is it heat? Is it fire? Is it sadness? Can you just trust that your body actually really knows what it's doing, and it really knows how to help you process your emotions if you just let it? So yeah, hope to see you guys in the next video.